Hey, good morning, good morning. Yeah, so I'm looking for a buy over here, guys. If price can break above these highs, I'm gonna be looking to execute on a schlong position. Stop loss just underneath support over there. Daily just about to be trending here again. Hope you all having a good day. All right, let's see if we can get the volume in. Yeah, I'd love to get some volume in here. Love to see if price can just push up. Can we push up? I do hope it stays like this and then breaks above where I think I want to get in. Yeah, but we're just hovering here by this 33.49 level. Can we break 33.49? That's what we gotta break. At least for now, because you know, if we can break 33.49, then I would anticipate price to have a continuation over here up until like resistance. You know, so I really do hope price doesn't move down, because if we start to move down, man, there's not so much clean bias down over there. We just have to wait, just be a bit more patient. If you want, you can take some impulse entry sells. You know, that could probably still play out, but I would love to see this daily at least try and get through this level. I see on the daily we already got towards like daily resistance. We tapped daily resistance over there. We got a small little liquidity grab confluence to right below this zone, so we just got some orders in there. And yeah, this would be nice for price to do liquidity grab like this and then to continue to move upwards. That would be pretty good. Let's see if price can respect those lows. Start ripping up. Could start ripping up at any moment now, because we just got the London Open. So you see London Open volume starting to kick in here. Oh, nice. Finally. The question is, can I get in sooner? You know, that's what I'm considering. Can I get in sooner? Maybe at the break of these highs by 33.50. Can I get in sooner? Does it make sense? I'll get in sooner if we form a resistance and then re-break the highs. But it doesn't look like we're going to do that. Looks like we're just going to skyrocket. Stop loss is just underneath that 5-minute area over there. See those pullbacks, those little rejections? That's where my stop's going to be. Come on, gold, give us a skyrocket. Hey, good morning, Jay. Morning, Ricardo. Morning, Luke. Vikrit. We still haven't yet gotten the commitment. You know, for the higher time frame, we still need to break above the highs. We still got some highs over here that we need to get through. Break those wicks on the left-hand side, then, you know, like, price can move up. We got an inverted head and shoulders confluence in here too. The thing about gold, it's been stuck in this range for some time. You know, we just came up towards this previous wick. Exactly at that price point by 33.50. Still haven't broken it. Alright, so we're coming in. Alright, cool. So I got triggered here, guys. Now I'm expecting that price can continue to move up bullish. And I think, you know, this is going to be a pretty good trade here. This is going to be a pretty nice trade for me. Let's fly, Goldie. Come on, Red Bull gives you wings, Goldie. Red Bull gives you wings. We got inverted head and shoulders in here too. I mean, if it's gonna pick a direction, I think there's still a higher probability. Man, I don't care what anybody says. This is an awesome trade. This is a really good trade. You know, so let's see how it plays out here. Kiss of death on the 1 hour. You got like nice little SMAs, consolidation breakout, little inverted head and shoulders over there. I hope by the time we get into around, you know, like 17 pips over here by 33.52, that price can continue moving up. Because that's where I want to put my stops to break even by that point. Let's fly, Goldie. Man, the 5-minute candlestick just looks huge right now. Let's get that follow through. Because we've been just consolidating for quite a while over there. I tried swing entry after the consolidation play on the 1 minute. Got stopped out by the wick, but I used very small risk. Yeah, look at this. You know, as price moves up here, it's fine if this candlestick closes, retraces. At least it, you know, that's a thing I want to avoid, is this kind of pullback that's happening now. It could have happened when we hit 33.52 at the break even. So it's kind of nice that it's happening now, so that when this candlestick closes in 1 minute 47 seconds, that the next 5 minute can just continue to move up there, re-break the highs, and then continue to push up towards like 33.53. It's got about 1 minute 38 seconds here for candlestick to close. And it's got so much room over there to move up. All the way up towards like some kind of resistance here. Maybe even continue following through. So we got accumulation. We got like some kind of like support areas over here. Candlesticks were pulling back up after creating some really strong bottom wicks. Start reflipping. Now we got SMA confluence in there as well. So that looks pretty good. We've got our 8 SMA, 50 SMA. That looks pretty nice. Dynamic support areas over here. Got some dynamic support. And it's like, it's all kind of like a probabilities game. So it's like, is there a higher probability that price would move down as opposed to price moving up? Because if you look at the sells, over here, there's not that much. It's not so appetizing for the sells. Correct? Like there is a bit of room down here. There's about a 23 pips, but there's definitely a lot more room for price if it was going to move up here. You got about like, you know, like 40 pips. 40 pips. So you just got to check out how this 5 minute candlestick here closes in the next, how many minutes? Sure, I'm not sure, like 10 seconds. Would be nice to at least see it close above resistance here by 33.50. Yeah, we already got price peak here at about, you know, like, what's that, 15 pips. See if we can get some follow through here. If Goldie can finally break its consolidation from this region right here. We just need to get above this zone. You know, price just needs to respect above resistance here so we can move up. That's all that price needs to do. Respect above resistance so we can move up. Because if we come back down here, this is just a gulag. You know, at this point, then London session does nothing. Then I'm just gonna come back pre-New York. Because that will just mean price is just gonna range inside of this area over here. Or the price action is just not going to be too good. So we want to see that price moves away from this zone. You know, so at least for the London session that it becomes somewhat tradable. So that's what I'm going to wait. I'm still going to wait here for a bit. Not yet going to do any management on reducing my stop loss for now. Just going to wait for it to play out. Really looking nice this trade. I wish I've entered with bigger risk. Oh, you only risk 0.5. Sir, the animation on the starting of your live stream, what animation software are you using? I think that's just a video that I got made. Yeah, someone made me a video. Let's see. I was looking at backtested and found that most 5 minute entries actually align with the 15 and 30 minute close as well. Thanks for your course, man. Very in-depth. 100% recommend. Thank you, man. Very appreciate that comment. Really appreciate that comment. Yeah, I think the 5 minute will end up lining up true with the higher time frames. Like this candle here, let's see on the 15 minute. You got the 15 minute candles that's about to close here as well. In the next 2 minutes 40 seconds. Hey Moj, good morning. So yeah, I just want to secure, you know, maybe around 23 pips. Get my PNL up a little bit on the day. Alright, so 5 minute candle has retested those lows. Stop loss to break even, guys. This is a risk-free trade. Stop loss to break even. Let's fly, Goldie. Give us a push. Beautiful. Amazing. If you secured something, awesome. Awesome way to start off the week here, guys. Let's freaking go. I secured some profit here already. Beautiful. Man, it's like the setup was just waiting for us. This is really nice. Yeah, now this range is already filled up about how many pips here? 30 filled up about 33 pips on this range. You know, I think that's about it. That's whatever is left of this range at this point is only, you know, like maybe 7 pips, 8 pips here. So you know, if you tuned into the simulation session yesterday, you know exactly why we took this trade. If you didn't tune into the simulation, then you're missing out big time. You're missing out big time. Because that was the most percent we ever did on a simulation. The one we did yesterday. The highest percent we ever did on a simulation. Using TFX concepts. We did about, you know, like 22% there. And look at this, guys. Is this anything new? We're literally doing the same thing that we did on yesterday's simulation. Man, that's why I say if you can simulate it and you can backtest it, then you know you shouldn't have a hard time to forward test it as well, because the markets just operate the same exact way. Correct? They should operate the same exact way. So you see, wait, let's go. See over here. This is like a similar structure than like what we did on our simulation. Your price came down, consolidated, broke above. You know, price came down, consolidated, broke above. So, you know, these are like the cleanest entries. These are the entries that you're really looking forward to take it. It would be a sin. If you didn't take this trade, then it would be a sin not to take this trade. Because it's such a clean trade. You know, these are the trades that we see in the simulations, and we're like, man, these trades have very high probability running trades. You know, because look at this trade over here. This trade is what we risked 5% on the simulation. We risked 5% on this move. Right over here. And it's the same thing that's happening, that's playing out at this current moment. This is a trade we risked 5% and we just kept trailing the position. You know, we kept moving our stop loss below the 5-minute candlesticks and price just kept moving up. That's why I said, like, man, you guys gotta like really lock in, because you're gonna be put. Remember, guys, I said you're going to be put in this situation. So if you're not locked in and you're watching these videos like Netflix, then what's gonna happen? You're gonna start off the new week with the same bad habits, the same unprofitable habits, and you're just gonna keep losing. Because the way the market works is, if you're a losing trader, you're going to keep losing because the winning traders are doing something over and over again that's making them profitable. So if you're a losing trader, you're just going to keep losing because you're doing the same thing that's making you unprofitable. But yeah, I think that's a nice stream, guys. So I think we can end the stream here, guys. Adios, everybody. We've literally been on stream for how long over here? This trade came in at 3:05. 5 minutes into the, what is this, like 5 minutes into the London Open. I've been sick for 5 days and still sick. Oh, yesterday I was distracted and didn't see the sign. Trading helps my head out of the pain. So today I will trade for a few hours. Oh, hope you get well, Ricardo. Yes, I was wondering where you were yesterday. I was like, man, Ricardo's not here. Hope you get well, buddy. See, iPhone overall uptrend. Yeah, we're just moving up here today. Been so long London has gave us a clean trade like this. Yeah, I can't remember the last time that London gave us this clean of a price action. That's true. We haven't gotten that in a long time. We have not gotten this in a really long time. Oh wait, no, we actually got one last week. Last week on Thursday. If I think it was Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday, but it was more of like actually it was the same thing. Look at this. Look at this again, it's the same thing. You know, last week on Thursday, these were the buys over here. The price are breaking above structure, and then it moved up, filled up the range, and then it started to come down. So we've gotten twice, but since this, we haven't seen this in a while. We haven't gotten anything as clean as that one. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good month so far here. So that should give some positive gains. Yeah, that's the London move. That was the first distribution. Now I think the next entries are probably gonna come in during the pre-New York. So what do you think? Will it continue around 33.57? Then it depends if it breaks the resistance up there. Yeah, I think it could move up. You know, we just have like daily resistance that we need to get through over here. By 33.55. But I think we should be able to move up. You know, I think we should, because this looks like a small little liquidity grab down over here so that the daily can at least continue to wick fill. So I'd say in terms of a daily target, I'm going to be looking at around maybe just, you know, just get a wick fill for today by 33.70. That could be a target over there. So that's going to be an additional 160 pips up towards like 33.70. 33.70, so that would be just about here. I think that's a safe target to have for gold to move up. 33.70. Yeah, so we gotta wait, you know, because you know, this is a buy idea that I've been looking at catching since the pre-London session. You know, because when price came down, it already corrected the moves on the left hand side. Wait, let me see what's going on here. 181. It changed the stats. 181, 16, 69. Yeah, because you see, like when London session, when we had Asia come in, there were a lot of nice moves during Asia session. You know, to correct this left-hand side price action down towards support. So yeah, I think, you know, if you're trading the Asia session, you could have caught some pretty nice entries there with TFX concepts as well. So that's what I saw. That price came down, corrected the range. You know, we came down towards support area over here. We respected support. So I've just been anticipating this whole time since pre-London that price is just going to be moving up to, again, mirror price action here on the left-hand side. Remember the two types of mirrors we spoke about? So that was one of them right here. And then now this another one that's currently happening. So yeah, that's what I've been waiting for. Yesterday, we were on our way. Can you look at GJ? Yeah, let's see. Oh, GJ is by 200. It came to 200 here. It's still struggling at 200, you see? I think the main thing GJ needs to do is break above that level. So you can start to see some kind of direction coming. You know what it's doing right now? It's consolidating. GJ is consolidating. It's building up orders so it can properly break above 200. I'm not sure what the fundamental work is revolving around GJ, but I feel like it could be waiting for some kind of stimulation here. Oh, this is a nice move. This was a really nice move. This looks like the last trade that we took on the simulation, actually. Let me pull that up. That was a really nice move. And then price just went up. Where is it? Yeah, kind of looked like it. Because it got that wick. That kind of rejection wick. Over here. Close above resistance. Oh, no, not exactly. Not exactly. I was thinking I was just looking at the wick. That little strong pullback that it had here. But this was a nice little inverted head and shoulders as well. You got left shoulder, head, right shoulder over there. That price could move up. Very clean. Yeah, GJ's been looking good. GJ's been looking good. As of right now, though, I don't see anything, you know, because GJ is currently at a support level. It's the London Open volume. This is like pure distribution, because if you go on the 1 minute time frame, on the 1 minute you don't get any structure. Like it's just moving up, it's just pushing upwards, creating you higher low, higher low, higher low. You know, just moving upwards over there. So you gotta wait. You gotta, if you want to take another trade, you gotta wait for a structure to form again. Let's see. Trades taken. Oh, we got Nani with some trades. First trade of the week, buy on gold. The idea is price come to retest. Broken daily resistance on the 50-minute time frame. Price is also down. Let's see this. TP1 around 1 to 3. Close 90%. Oh, nice. SL to break even. Awesome. Then you close 90%. Okay, very good. Very good. Let's go. Second trade, impulse buy on gold. Oh, break of the highs. Yeah, I can see this. I can see this play out. Let's see what happened. Retrace and then continue moving up. Close early, though. Nice W. That SMA confluence up 0.45. Close above resistance. This is not sure what time frame this is, but you know, really nice. Additional confluence. It faked out the sells before. Oh yeah, this was like a little fake out here. Before below support, and then price created support and then continue to move up, create a small resistance, a little bit of a break and retest situation that happened over here, and you know, then we started to push up again. 16.7, a couple of pips above 16.5. Oh, nice. Oh, winning. Second banger today. Oh, very clean entry at the break of the wick high, swing entry. Clean range up 58 SMA confluence 0.5 BE. Yeah, exactly. I think this is a nice move. Actually, wait. I was thinking more differently. I was not even using the swing entry break even here. Let's see where that was. Okay. Kind of similar area, I guess. A little bit higher up than the 0.5, but you know, pretty nice. We've already moved up towards resistance. So you see that range? That range has already been filled up here on the left hand side. So you know, this is done. At this point, we don't know like what price is going to do here. You know, it could continue moving upwards, but we're always expecting some kind of like a reaction to be happening at these points, you know, because now we've tapped into resistance. So maybe price can come down, can have a reaction over there. We're going to see like a little bit of profit taking happening from this area here. You even see how the 5 minute just opened up. It just opened up with no top wick. And then just completely dumped. If FX Brainiac. Oh. I just woke up not long ago. I already had one trade pre-London. I think I've been awake for maybe 2 hours now. 2 hours now. Already done for the day, but you know, I might take another trade during the pre-New York time, especially if we see like a lot of good volume Because you know it's really nice to win a trade and you know to have those wins, but the next loss or the next win is also just around the corner. You know, so I don't want to babysit my wins too much. You know, I think some people they sometimes babysit the wins too much because they don't want to lose. That they're just going to kind of like, you know, hold themselves back a bit. But for me, I feel like next loss, next win is it's always around the corner. You know, we're not in this game to perfect anything. We're just here to make money. You know, I'm not here to make anything look good. At the end of the day, we have to be making withdrawals. You know, so you gotta take your trades. But you know, for most people, most beginner traders, the best advice I can give is just stick to 1 or 2 trades a day. You know, because this is going to help you build that foundation that you need to really get to know yourself and what you're capable of. So, you know, you got to stick slowly, got to move slow, 1 trade, maybe even 1 trade a day, and you start seeing some progress. Then you can start taking 2 trades a day. Once you get really comfortable with that, then maybe you can take like, you know, 3 trades a day. So the idea is like you're just getting to know yourself. You're getting to know your strategy, different market environments and that sort of thing before you start like over trading. BTC USD falling, sir. Ooh, falling like gold over here. Man, look at how perfect this is. It's like the market knows exactly what it needs to do. It needs to break wick highs, move towards resistance, and then reject off resistance as a profit taking. You know, this is when I say there's no shock in the water and price is just behaving exactly like it should behave. You know, no overthinking, no smart money concepts, no boogeyman. You know, you're just following price action. These are the best days. I tend to babysit the winnings because I tend to overtrade. Do you compound your wins or withdraw and start with initial capital every week? No, I just leave it in. You know, it's like an investment. My account's like an investment. So I only withdraw what I need. So if I need capital, then I can make a withdrawal. If I don't need capital, it's like a second bank account. That's all that it is. You know, you should just withdraw what you need. That SMC right there. Yes, sir. Yeah, you should just withdraw what you need because I'm trading a live account. I'm not trading a funded account. You know, on a funded account, when you make that money, it's also like it's not as safe money as if you're just on a regulated broker. So on a funded account, you need to make more consistent withdrawals. You need to make withdrawals because a lot of the funded accounts that people go with are just the same ones. You know, you hear like a guru opened up a funded account and you join that funded account, then you get scammed. So if you go with like a good funded program, at least use like a well-reputable funded program that's not sponsored by a guy with a Lamborghini, because that guy with the Lamborghini is gonna screw you over soon. You know, that's what they do. So you gotta go with a reputable funded program that's been existing for a couple of years, you know, a few years. But if you're on a regulated broker, then you shouldn't really have anything to worry about, because your regulated broker has been here like 10 years, 20 years. They've been here for a very long time. So they have less incentive to screw you over because, you know, they're running a business, an actual business. Hey Vic, may I ask you how to avoid a manipulation in console breakout, please? Sometimes we indicate the manipulation first, but sometimes the distribution happens. Oh, yeah, sometimes you can't avoid it, but other times I think the best way to avoid a potential manipulation is just wait for some candles to break, you know, in line with the daily trend. That's the best advice I could give. Like, you know, for example, today, the daily time frame is already trending bullish. So there's a higher probability that price is going to move up. You know, that's why if I take this buy over here, man, let me tell you, if this was a losing trade, I would be surprised if this was a losing trade. Then that would just be a really crappy variable, because in the long run, you can have all these same trades like this, but eventually one of them is going to fail. You know, even though if it's an A+ setup, one of them is going to fail, but there's a less probability that something like this fails because, you know, the daily has been already moving up here. We've been moving up during the Asia session, as you can see. We've created like some kind of support over here. You know, there's not much room. And, you know, these concepts, we talked about them yesterday. And, you know, price didn't come down because it's not as appetizing as it would be for price to move up. So I think if you can put yourself in scenarios like this a little bit more, it would be helping your hit rate and your win percentages. You know, like if you're as a beginner trader learning how to take some kind of an impulse entry like this, just at least wait for the daily candlesticks to trend. Because yeah, sometimes that trend really does save you. It really does save you. Even if you get like drawdown and then the buyers start to come back in, it can scare off the sellers quite easily. You know, like if you look at the way these 5-minute candles were pulling down, look at the way they were pulling down and then ripping up. Pulling down aggressively, then ripping up. You know, that's kind of what you expect when you're going with the overall flow of the market. So, yeah, I think it's pretty nice. I think that's good. Can you do some stuff on micro NQ1? Oh, mini? I think you can send a chart in because I don't trade that. But you know, you can send a chart onto Discord here. 2 bangers today. Let's go. Winning. Meow Kun. Alright, so you got like a simple break of a trend line and gold to move bullish. You know what I realized? Sometimes I watch these videos on YouTube to see how people are doing with funded programs. And then they're showing these trades where if they just took the opposite of what they did, they would be in line with where the market was heading anyway, and they could have been passing their challenges. The problem with the trades that I see is they always trying to outsmart the market somehow. You know, they're taking buys when price is moving down. They're taking sells when price is moving up. That's what I'm seeing most of the time. Christos, thank you for the sub, man. Did you add your lot size since you got more equities? No, I just keep my lot size the same. I think it helps with my psychology. I could increase my lot size, but right now, it just helps with my psychology a lot more. Because, you know, like when you increase the risk, you also, in the beginning, you don't execute as flawlessly as you need to be executing because, you know, it's like a higher risk. But when I keep my risk like at a good level, then I don't think too much about it. You know, I just take what needs to be took. I focus more on the price action and not the P&L. So, yeah, I think it's pretty nice. Like me on German 40, I'm buying now. Oh, you're buying now. Yeah, his price is coming down. Yeah, at least you're in and out though. Because, you know, when I'm speaking about this, what they're doing is they're having big stops. So they're selling as prices, buying as prices coming down. But they're doing with like big stops. So if you got to trade like that, you got to at least get on the right side of the market. Amex Nation, thank you for the summon. I got analysis paralysis. Took a loss. Ooh. So what do you think? Let's see. Close 70% in profit, trailing the rest. Great start to the week. Awesome. Yeah, it was pretty strong pullback for the trails, but really good. At least you secured something. You know, it's always important to secure something. Always important. It's dumping, was dumping hard, got it right already. Took, okay, out of this trade, assault to BE. Yeah, it's really good. It's a shame. I don't know where all these people on stream go usually when it comes to other things. People join the streams, but they don't watch the videos. They don't engage. But what can you do? What can you do? Let's go on this memes. What if the bank runs out of money? Some players think the bank is bankrupt. If it runs out of money, the bank never goes bankrupt. To continue playing, use slips of paper to keep track of each player's banking transactions until the bank... Oh, man, this is awesome. Yeah, that's true. Like Monopoly is like real life here. Until the bank has enough paper money to operate again. The bankers may also issue new money on slips of ordinary paper. Man, I completely forgot about this rule in Monopoly. That if you run out of paper money, like with the game, that what the game gives you, then you can use like regular paper. That's awesome, man. We can just go to the printers. Got Jerome Powell here. Go to the printers, print more money. As long as you have paper, we're gonna have money. I like money. Wendy's misfortune awaits lucky you. So imagine, money is just a piece of paper. You know, if you think about it, why can a piece of paper be so hard to make? Why is it so hard to make a piece of paper? It doesn't even make sense. Because it's all psychology, you know. The thing is, like, when you don't have money, you think it's super hard to make money. And when you start making money, you're like, damn, making money is easy. Making money is the easy part. Keeping the money is the difficult thing, you know. Keeping the money is always the most hardest thing that you can do. But once you figure out the making part, then you're going to realize that it's all been psychology. Now, all this time, it was just psychology. You know, it's just a piece of paper. Man, look at this trading setup over here. What the hell is this? Got a toilet. Got a toilet. Oh, but he's got some cash here. But he's got a toilet. Damn. That's wild. Holy, $50 to $78. You are in a margin call. Deleting the app won't erase your debt. We know where you live. Has everybody ever gotten like minus on the broker? What happens after you get minus? I don't think they actually do anything. If you get like, let's say minus $100, let's say you're trading NFP and you're like over leveraging, you get minus $100. What do they do? I don't think they do anything. I think the only thing that happens is next time you deposit, they're just going to minus your drawdown. But if you just leave the broker, then I guess nothing happens. Oh, they're gonna start looking for you. He removed the problem of having to go to the bathroom. Oh, right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a big problem. Oh, we got Tall Trader in the chat. And that is why gold has physical worth. Yes. Paper burns off and gold shines. Verity Silver's been doing pretty well as well. Oh, how do I put this over here? Let's look at silver. Okay, so it's just hovering. It's just hovering, but we're not too far off the all-time highs on silver. Got some room over there. GJ is really flirting with 200. I'm here for the long run. I'm not going anywhere. I appreciate you, Ellie. I don't think you can get into minus. They close a trade when it gets to a certain level. You know, some brokers offer like very high leverage though. 1 to 500, 1 to 1000, 1 to 2000. So with the slippage, it can get to minus. But yeah, I mean, either way, I don't think it makes a difference. They could also emulate it not getting to minus and they're just going to leave it at 0. They could also do that because they know a new trader is maybe just going to go to another broker. So they just keep it at 0 so you can redeposit. Because, you know, at the end of the day, it's not like you're costing the broker any money. So when you get the slippage, it's kind of like also unfair fee that you'd pay back to the broker. Because it's just simulated. It's just, you got to buy here. You got out. Oh, nice. Oh, you held this trade even. Secured some partials and then let the rest run. This is something we've been doing a lot of late now on the simulation. We're going to start doing this more. Just securing partials. Oh, like XNext, you can hold a trade even if your account is negative. And some people just redeposit when they're going into drawdown. It's like throwing wood into the fire. So it doesn't automatically close. Man, like the way some people trade is just crazy. Like if you think about the way you first start trading and then the way you actually become better, it's quite a journey. Like all the crazy stuff that you do in the beginning. You know, but I think you have to do it. You just have to get through that experience first. Is it true that brokers take the opposite trade to you when they know you banging L's? I don't know. Yeah, I think some brokers do that. They take the opposite trade. Yeah, but it shouldn't really matter because it's not like they can move the market anyway, but they could try and make a profitable system. If you consider most people losing on a broker, then you can somehow make a profitable system. If 95% or even 90% of them are losing, then you just do the opposite of what they're doing. I'm not sure the technicals around that though. I'm not sure if that actually works because, you know, why wouldn't a hedge fund start utilizing such means? Like, why wouldn't Goldman Sachs open like some kind of broker? You know, for example, like a very popular one that even all the retail traders knew about. So I'm not exactly sure how profitable that is too. I think there's a lot of dynamics that come into play because not all traders on the platform are also letting their stop losses hit. They're also mismanaging positions. That's why they're losing trades. There's a whole bunch of variables. So it might be hard to get an algo to actually efficiently take the opposite trade and do what it needs to do. When I started trade, I didn't use SLs, and I was profitable in the demo account and also after on the live account. I use a very small lot size and let them run. Then comes the day, 1 month of work goes in one trade. Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing. It's inevitable. It's inevitable that losing trade comes in and then wipes everything out. This is like nice little bump over here. Hi, joining you from India. It's my second day. Where do you think gold is headed on intraday? Welcome, welcome. We're looking at 3370 over here, 3370. But that's for the long term on the daily. On the intraday, we just had one buy and that was it. That was just a trade over there. That price could have moved from 33.51 up towards 33.55. The range here was about like 40 pips. There, that was it. 40 pip move. Now it's retraced. It's come back into the gulag where it's gonna fetch a bit more orders here, so it can potentially start to move up again towards 33.55. So that's what's currently happening. You know, so if we get some structure being formed again, then maybe it can make another run here, retest those highs and probably even move up. Or we just range. We just range at this point. So that becomes the new high. And then this is the new low. And we're just going to range up towards like pre-New York. Then we're going to move during pre-NY. Then NY open. Maybe we can continue to move up. You know, because if price wants to move up, there's a daily resistance that we're trying to get through here by 33.55. So we might need to accumulate some orders first. You can see price is already moving sideways. It's flattening out. From what you saw during the Asia session, when price moved up, now it's not really trending. It's kind of flattening out again. So yeah, I think it's accumulating orders so we can move up, break through that daily resistance. If we move down, then, you know, it is what it is. Maybe because we got some clean range, a little clean range on the 4 hour or something. But I still think today is a bullish day. I definitely feel a lot more bullish. Even the 1 hour is not looking too good. You got like a support level here. It's kind of stuck, actually. It's because we got that daily resistance and we got that hourly support down over here. Creating weekly highs before it checks the downside. Oh, let's see, weekly time frame. Previous we closed bearish. Gold hovers near 2-week lows. Gold price has edged up 33.40 per ounce on Monday, but remained near its lowest level in over 2 weeks as prospects of easing geopolitical tensions dulled the metal's safe haven appeal. While Friday's meeting between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin failed to deliver a breakthrough on a ceasefire, Putin agreed to allow the US and Europe to provide Ukraine with robust security guarantees as part of an eventual deal to end the war. See, Trump is scheduled to meet Zelensky and European leaders later today to strike a quick peace deal. Oh, Trump is meeting today with Zelensky and other European leaders. So yeah, I think, you know, price could consolidate again. Meanwhile, investors are awaiting the release of Federal Reserve's latest meeting minutes on Wednesday, which could shed further light on the decision to leave interest rates unchanged. Markets will then turn their focus to Powell's remarks at the central bank's annual Jackson Hole Symposium later this week for fresh clues on policy outlook. Yeah, I think this is pretty nicely summarized here. So, you know, with Trump having the meeting later, remember like on Friday, we didn't take any trades on Friday because, you know, we had the Trump meeting going on, and look at how price was on Friday. Just complete garbage. Loads of whips over there, you know, loads of consolidation. So, you know, this was already kind of expected here. And then we had the meeting and, you know, just a garbage Friday. So today might be kind of similar thing happening. We might start consolidating soon, but so far it looks good. So far it looks nice. Commodities intraday target levels. See, what about spot gold? Spot gold is looking at 33.09 to 33.298. Wait, 33.09 to 33.298. These are targets / key levels. 33.298. Whoa, so what is this? Expecting price to come down or what? 33.298. Damn, people are expecting price to come down today. Gold edges lower amid prospects of easing geopolitical tensions. Trump said Putin had accepted that any peace in Russia-Ukraine conflict would need to include the presence of Western troops in Ukraine. Yeah, these peace talks are what could just be really driving a lot of this kind of like bearish momentum. Yeah, this is not good for gold. Gold is gonna go down. Or it might go down. 1 hour huge rejection. PA for gold to move down doesn't make sense though, because even when I came onto the chart, I think price had already peaked at like 0.50% plus, and then retrace down over here. So when I was already on the charts, price was already up 0.35, 0.40%. So also doesn't make sense because price is pushing upwards. Maybe that's something for the New York session, that if price was going to come down, it comes down a bit later on. Because the pre-London, the Asia, and London opens have all been bullish. Looks like head and shoulders on silver appearing. Oh, if anyone's interested. There we go. Asia lows all the way down over here. Got the Asia lows, got the Asia highs. Feels like it wants to melt though, right, guys? Kind of feels like, even look at PA here since last week Friday. Last week Friday, price is just... Wait a second. This is Monday. Why does it say... This is Monday. Why does this say Tuesday? Oh, okay. I see. Okay. Yeah, we can see that price has been kind of just coming down overall. So we might just get that break. Gold might just break that support. Although I would love to see it move upwards. Could just end breaking support there. And then it's going to be literally the same exact thing that happened on Thursday. Right over here. Remember guys, I just broke above. And then just completely melted. Breaking the lows here and then just completely dumped. From our entries, we saw like about 100 pips. You know, so it could be a similar situation like this. Right over here. Because now we've had the push upwards, the consolidation, the push upwards, then the melt. So, you know, it's like markets are very repetitive. So you got to see these repetitive things happen over and over again. But that's only if you have like a simple concept, you know. It's much easier to see. Because you're actually reading price at this point. You're reading price because those are the movements that we're seeing. You know, the general movements just using the candlesticks. No refined entries, no like inverted unicorns or fair value gaps. You know, we're just literally just reading what we see. Because when you start trading, all you get is candlesticks. You don't get no FVGs. You have to learn that stuff. You know, you don't get no whatever concepts out there that's complicated. You'll have to learn that stuff. What you get are candlesticks. You know, think about it. What do you see when you first start trading? It's candlesticks. So you gotta learn how to read candlesticks. You know, if you can't read candlesticks, you can't trade. Which side they go? We go with them. Yeah, it needs to break at least this wick by 33.45 here, and then you know price can maybe move down a bit more. Creating weekly highs. Let's see. Yeah, I think like, man, if you can't read the candles, it's like driving. It's like if you're learning to drive for the first time and you're learning to drive in a Formula 1 race car. You know, a Formula 1 race car and you're driving around the track, and now you have to get used to actual driving on the road, you know, with the rules and the traffic and all these things. Then it's like a difference. You know, when you get a strategy, just a strategy like that, it's like Formula 1. You know, maybe you get these really nice moves, really fast, beautiful moves, really nice racetrack. Until things start to get difficult, then you're like, oh, damn. You know, now I got to learn how to drive on the real road. You know, and that's going to be, for the most part of your journey, is you're going to drive on the real road. Because every strategy works. You know, if it's a trend line bounce or fair value gap or whatever it is, you're going to have a trade which is going to be profitable and it's going to feel good. It's probably going to be a fast entry as well. If you're doing like Fibonacci retracements or something like that, you know, the problem comes now when you have to drive on the road, where you're going to be 90% of the time, or majority of your time at least, you'll be on the road. where you gotta like respect road rules. You know, and that's what TFX is. It's like a driving school for trading. And then all that other stuff, the strategies and the confluences, that's just gonna come on top of your skills. You know, so if you already know how to drive, then you think you're gonna have a much better time enjoying the other things, you know. So if you can already drive like a normal car, then you can go to the racetrack, drive a McLaren or Lamborghini, whatever it is. It's kind of like a similar idea, you know, and then you're gonna enjoy it more. You'll be like, man, this is nice. You know, it's a different feeling now because you have a little bit more experience. You know, so you're like, oh man, this is nice. So that's what confluence is. It's not taking your car to the racetrack. Then you've got the confluences and you're like, damn, this actually has a very nice chance to run in my direction. This is a very high probability trade. You know, we also had some few liquidity grab situations that happened over here too. If you notice, that price broke below these lows before candlestick broke above the highs, so it could continue to move up bullish. Got a small little liquidity grab over here. Liquidity grab, consolidated, nice little SMA confluence. See, now we're taking it to the racetrack here now. Boom, 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 and then you got this. And it feels good coming from from here to here. But when you start here, it doesn't feel as good because you're missing the whole journey. You know, you're missing the whole foundation because now you're starting from all the way up over here. So you've missed out on the journey. You know, so eventually what's going to happen, you're going to be slowly having to come back down here. Then you're going to unlearn and then relearn to get back up here again. Now, the next time you get back up here, it's going to be a lot more sustainable this time because now you've gotten what you needed to get. You know, because now you ran out of fuel here and you're like, damn, you know, my sports car is out of fuel here. So now I got to walk. So now you got to walk back. You got to walk back or you got to run back and say, I got to go and get this fuel. You know, I can't make this journey without the fuel. So you got to go, come and get your fuel. And you're going to come back up here and then you're going to be good to go at this point. You're going to be more prepared. So you're going to say, okay, now I know what I was missing. So now I know how to plan for the next stop. So how would you avoid that liquidity grab? Oh, this liquidity grab? I just wouldn't have traded it. Plus, yeah, I just probably would not have traded it. I was not even on the charts during this time. I came during a... Or when did I take this trade? I think I took... Oh, 149. Oh, okay. So 149, we took a buy on gold. So how I could have avoided this liquidity grab was by not over trading. Because I already took a buy here and that played out. In terms of this, maybe I could have taken a sell. Maybe I could have, yeah, I could have taken a sell here. I could have still had a profitable trade. That liquidity grab would have been my take profit basically. I would have already been up like a 1.7. Like that's how much it pushed. You know, and we got some really nice confluences over there. Took my buy here this morning and then, you know, the market mirrored itself. You know, we took a buy right over here. Or wait, where was it? Right here. Yeah, we took a buy right here. And then the market basically mirrored itself. Reversal confirmation candle. Yeah, I would have taken the sell here by 33.48 and then price would have moved down if I was over trading. But I don't typically like to take trades like this close to each other. You know, if you have like one trade, you know, you can just call it, you can call it a session and then you can come on and take the next trade. You see? Then you can just avoid again a lot of the noise that happens in between the times that you're not trading. And then come in again during a time of volume. So these are all times of volume. Then this is also a time of volume. So you could just spread out your entries like this. Yeah, but so far I've been seeing like more buys, but you know, we could be seeing the sells coming in soon. Yeah, we're just gonna do this. We're just gonna keep doing this. Overextended? No, I don't think so. Because the daily can still move up. Like the daily has already also... If you're talking about the daily being overextended, no, we can definitely move up. We have so much room. It could just be the underlying factors of these P stocks that are making price seem like it's kind of like weighing down on price, the geopolitical easing, and that's why price, you know, is starting to have these sort of like almost lethargic-ish PA. It's like kind of losing steam slowly coming down here. Like overall, we can see the previous weekly closed bearish. Overall, we've been creating new lower lows overall. What are we doing here? Buys? Buy, sell, buy. You have an entry already? Yes, Harriet. You know, the thing about the way I trade is I try to use my time as efficiently as possible. So you want to organize your lifestyle around like when you actually think your moves are going to come in. That way, you know, you don't waste a lot of time waiting. So if we start stream at 3 a.m. Eastern, then, you know, that's when the trades are actually supposed to be coming in. Because this trade, for example, this trade was already going to play out, I think, even before stream started. It was so close. So I was already, you know, it's important to be 5 minutes early if you can, even. Because then you can miss the move. Because look, if this trade had already played out and I wasn't on time to catch it, then I would be wasting a lot of time now. This will all just be time wastage waiting for another entry. And that could have been the last buy of the day, you know, as well. It could have been the last buy up until I don't know what time. Last goodbye with the daily trending. Now the daily is down 0.30%. We're just going into the gulag again. The daily gulag, which means there's no trend. So you got the support area down here. So we're going to wait and see what happens at this point, you know. Price is moving sideways. It hasn't really picked a direction yet until it at least tries to break below some wick lows. Then we can see something. Man, it's the best. Like, just organize your lifestyle around trading. That way you wake up in the morning, you have your trade, and you call it a day. You know, you don't have to sit around all day being a slave to the market. Gold edges. Lower. Oh, the good thing is we also don't have any fundamentals today. So we got Monday is pretty clear for us to trade. Which is good news. Tomorrow we have nothing. And Wednesday we have FOMC meeting minutes. People are waiting for this. And we got unemployment claims or flash manufacturing PMI for the pound and for the dollar. Oh, Jackson. Okay, so this is now the talk. The talk that Trump is going to be having with the European leaders and Zelensky here on Thursday. So, wait, is that today as well? Let me go on to... Didn't it say that they were meeting European leaders? Trump top European leaders are opening Russia, Ukraine. Trump is scheduled to meet Zelensky and European leaders later today to strike a quick peace deal. Why isn't that scheduled? It's not yet scheduled into the forex factory. It looks like we even have nothing on Monday. Yeah, this folder sometimes comes later on. Ooh, President participates in a family photo with European leaders at 2:30 p.m. President greets European leaders 2:15. So at 1:15, the president participates in a bilateral meeting with President of Ukraine. President greets President of Ukraine. So the European leaders are to arrive at the White House by 12 p.m. Eastern. So by 12 p.m. Eastern, man, we might see more choppiness in the market. You know, but that's a lot later on, even before 12 p.m. That's way towards the end. Way towards the end of the day over there. So hopefully markets just don't consolidate. Yeah, but it's not written here. 20% strategy, 80% psychology. Yes. Let's see if current candle closed below the previous wick. We should be sweet, bro. Yeah, if we close below like some kind of support here, then you know there's that 23 pip range down towards 33.43. I guess that's what price would be looking at next. Gold might sell from here. Yeah, if we get through that support. If we don't get through that support, then it just kind of bounces. It could bounce off this lows and then come and retest the highs again. This whole range here is about 98 pips. Trump and Putin's meeting wasn't in Forex Factory. Yeah, it wasn't. Sometimes it gets populated later on. You're gonna see it come. Now it makes sense to come down if it breaks lows after falling. Oh, falling to break the highs on the 5-minute. Yeah, I mean, this is just moving sideways here, so just because it failed to break the highs doesn't mean that it necessarily should break the lows and move down. So it could just be bouncing like this. So just gotta wait. Just wait and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, if we're considering the overall momentum, it wouldn't be surprising to see it break those lows and then retrace this area here. It's like a pullback. Because if you think about it, like most of the buyers already would have been coming in during Asia, got a small pre-London, London Open, and it's like kind of losing steam there. Might switching over to a bearish bias soon. Well, candlesticks pushing here. No top wick. Going to test 33.44 now. Off to the races. We need the stream to look more professional. So we gotta put like some indicators, a little bit more indicators. Let's see what we have here. Oh no, I think this one's a nice one. Pocket pivots. POC. Oh, why is this one locked? Invite only script. Contact the author for access. This one has 260 people using this. Man, look at the amount of people that use indicators. Crazy. 1.3K, 2.4K, 2.5K. Time and volume point of control. Wait, is it coming on? Gotta remove this. What the hell is this? Man, that looks crazy. You can't even see the candles anymore. Let's see, volume point of control with fib base profile. Yeah, this is how a lot of charts look in the beginning. You know, when you first start to trade, you're gonna have all of this stuff on there. Oh, look at this. It gives you the point of control by 33.49. Well, what the thing I do love about TradingView is the script and the way you can edit things is so nice. You know, I do love how flexible this is. Like, you put some emojis over here. Got a magnet over here. Got a little lucky, you know, lucky 4-leaf clover over here as well. You got some 4-leaf clovers for good luck. I think it's pretty nice. You see, like, price is now breaking below support. We're trading underneath our point of control over here by 33.49. So yeah, I think now this looks good. Trading underneath our Fibonacci SMAs. Very nice. I mostly use ICT kill zones, TFO. Yeah, we... Oh, that was a nice call. We got a nice call here from Ricardo. Little sell-off here as price is moving down to fill this range. I thought it was gonna bounce. You know, I thought we could at least bounce off that support. Oh, what is this, man? This is like RSI. We have point of controls, fair value gaps. I mean, not point of controls, but pivot points. It kind of... Okay, no, this is not pivot. These are FVGs. Yeah, imagine this. This is like art. All my indicators I made at once. This is Picasso. We should have like a trading museum and just have like some charts like this. I could say, I would actually love to do that. That sounds like such a plan. A museum where you just go, you know, have some glass of wine and you stand there and you look at each person's chart. And you just look at it and you think about what's going through this guy's head, you know? This would be awesome, guys. Trading View Museum. You're like, okay. All right. Interesting. And then you move on to the next chart. Let's go on Discord over here. You move on to the next chart like this. And let's look at all the different kind of charts. Man, we should get Space Angel's charts. Yeah, Space Angel, your charts definitely deserve museum. Your chart needs a really nice area in the museum there. Like this, man. I could look at this. Some of your other charts look really nice, so I think the style here has changed a little bit. Yeah, then we go again. We go look at the next chart. It's a funny chart here. It's kind of a funny one. Trine Gold already took partials at 10 pips. I think it's going to be E. How much did it already push down? It's pushed down about like 15 pips. 15 pips of this 20.8 pip range. Just tapped between 65% mark here. Boom. 65% mark has been hit. That was definitely the last buy. That was probably the last trending buy. That was like the last significant buy move over here. And you see how well that works with the timing. That that London Open over there, just the same way as it was on Thursday. That same buy before price just completely nutted. I think it's easier to see this. Like if you're focusing on these types of concepts, you're going to see them over and over again. But if you're mixing them with other things, then it's going to be analysis paralysis. What trades taken in Discord? Oh, watch in trades taken in Discord. Let's see, another small scalp with a trend line break. Take a buy over here. I mean, a sell. Wow, this one is still going with a 1 minute trend line breakout. Yeah, because, you know, like the 1 minute entries have really explosive gains. That's the one thing I love about the 1 minute entries. Looks like my friend's chart, you can't see no price, all covered by indicators. I like a chart like this, you know, like a chart like this, there's a lot of minimalism here. So you don't need much. Just always have like, you know, 3 lines on there, and the rest of it is just giving you more thinking room. So if the less analysis you got, the more you can think, you know. There's a whole idea behind minimalism as well. It just gives you mental clarity. So when you have like chart work which is clean, then you know you're gonna execute properly. You're not gonna second guess yourself, and you know, then trading becomes a lot more stress-free. But if you got like a lot of things going on like this, just like how it's not very efficient to not be minimalistic, then you're gonna have a lot of things on your head. You know, it's gonna be a lot of things. Because like some of these lines here, you don't even need some of these lines. This is like, now you're kind of hoarding, you know? You're gonna keep stuff you don't need. So what does this say about your personal life? You got like all these lines here. You probably don't even need these lines. What's this line here coming down? You see? Got some lines coming down. When are we ever gonna need this line again? When? You know? When's the next time you're gonna need this line? It's a pretty old price action as well. So maybe even the next time we come down here, it won't even make a difference because the market conditions have changed. So you see, you can just... Even these zones, you know, these are like very old zones. So you can actually tell a lot about a person by their charts. You know, like I can tell a little bit about Space's mentality as well. His kind of character as well, because I also seen him a bit on Instagram. I can tell, like, you can tell a lot about someone by even their kind of chart work that they have. You know, that's why I say, like, you know, have some pride in your chart work. See, clean range on the left hand side of fill, making it easy for an upwards movement compared to downside. Very nice. Yeah, just take a little pride in your chart work, you know, because at the end of the day, it's like these are the trades that you want to take, and these are the trades that are supposed to be giving you payouts. Very nice, minimalistic little trade over there. Yeah, price is coming down. Should we wait to retest of your level? Oh no, I think, you know, this is just this would be maybe a 1-minute consolidation break, because I don't see any sort of like good stop loss for that range. If you're waiting on a swing entry model, then your stop loss would be too big above here. Oh, actually no, it just about fits the range. Crazy, but you'd have a pretty big stop loss over there for a swing entry model. So only thing that looked good here was like maybe on the 1-minute time frame. You know, you got like some kind of nice little consolidation break right here, and then price moved down. Yeah, I think that's it. I have a friend that it's so much in the charts. It's crazy, but after 1 hour of trading with him, you start to see clearly the charts, but it's hard. Man, look at the size of this bullish candle here on the hourly. Holy. It's completely ripped up. I think it's nice when people send in charts, because, you know, if you trade by yourself, you actually forget how people look at markets. You know, let's say, you know, because some people out there, they just trade, they don't have communities, nothing like that. You kind of forget how other people look at markets. It's always quite refreshing to see when people send in their charts to the Discord, because it kind of, otherwise you lose touch. You lose touch on that part of trading. Because for me, I've gotten to a point where I don't even do analysis anymore. You know, you first start with a bunch of... I don't do analysis in terms of putting on like a lot of stuff on the charts. You get to a point where you like literally just take everything off. And then you just kind of like just trading naked charts in a way. But you already know what you're looking at because the levels are in your head. It's just super simplified and refined to a point where you don't need to have any sort of like crazy stuff going on. Which I think is really nice. because it allows you to actually just look at the candles for what they are, look at the price movements for what they are and how the candlesticks are reacting, rather than if you're too focused on a level. You know what I mean? Like, for example, when I first came onto stream, it's typically like this. Like, I'm thinking I'm going to take a buy above these highs, and then as price is developing, I'm realizing, oh, you know, I could actually get my buys a bit sooner. So instead of waiting for price to break above these highs, let me even just take this little bit of a sooner entry over here. So it's pretty nice. You come into the charts of the overall analysis first, and then you start zooming in. You start zooming in, zooming in, zooming. Then you see like these little nice explosive potential moves. So it's like, you know, your focus. If you think about the human mind and how the human mind also focuses on things, we always first start with a wider focus, correct? And then you start locking in, you start zooming in. And when you zoom in, that's when you're creating that pressure that you need to grow, correct? Like if you think about yourself studying for an exam, usually you start like, okay, you know, gotta set everything up, open up the book, get the overall idea. And then you start locking in, slowly locking in. And you get to a point where it's like, now you're super locked in. Now, you know, it's starting to hit a bit better. It's the same thing as in gym. You know, you first start with like your first set, you know, your first few reps, and then the reps start to get harder. You know, it's now you're starting to lock in, and that's where the growth is usually. You know, the growth isn't in all the other 8 reps that you did. Maybe if you still have energy for like 15 more reps, the growth is in that 13 to 15 range. You know, the rest of it was just all warm up so you can get into the zone. You know, just the same way as studying for an exam in school, or when you come onto the charts for the first time and you're trying to lock in. Any trade right now? Nope. 90k is like crazy crash, bro. I'm not gonna have... Oh, okay. That's something else. Vic, is it possible for Bitcoin to come back to 90k? What happened with Bitcoin? Oh, Bitcoin moved down. I had some crypto over the weekend. I sold some of my crypto on the weekend because I knew this was gonna happen. I was like, you know, we have this peace talks going right now, which should be good for the dollar and bad for gold, and that should also be bad for crypto. So I was like, man, let me just get rid of this crypto that I have here. I think that was a good move because I don't like to hold crypto. You know, I don't like to. I'm not a crypto fanatic like this. I don't like to hold it, so I just sold it off. So yeah, I think crypto is coming down for the same exact reason that gold is moving down. Is because of these peace talks, and we also have the talks happening today as well, and it seems that we're having some talks happening on Thursday too. So we got Trump speaking today, even though it's not scheduled, and then we got Jackson Hole Symposium. This is going to be for, I think this is the FOMC, right? Oh no, meeting minutes. Yeah, we have something else happening here on Thursday, but today we got the peace talks. Some more talks happening. So, you know, gold's going to move down, crypto's going to move down. So it makes sense. I think like once you understand the fundamentals in trading, then a lot of these other kind of like bigger moves, they start to make sense, because it's also sometimes difficult to just make sense of them when you're just using technical analysis. Any trades right now, except the one that just Ricardo here called out some sells. I think that was about it. It just needed to fill this range on the left-hand side as well, like a 20 pip range. It's already filled up. Man, beautiful PA. If you locked into the simulation that we had yesterday, man, your Monday, you would have already had an awesome Monday. You know, you would have had an awesome Monday. If you had some notes, if you took some notes. And so many moves, especially all within this area over here. You know, I think that's where majority of the meat of the PA was, because sometimes the Asia session is quite an earlier session to be trading, but majority of the meat was inside the zones. And now, you know, God knows what happens at this point, because price is starting to create multiple resistances. You know, we can see we have a support area all the way down over here, so it's also starting to tighten up a little bit more than what we've been having previously. Yeah, so I think it's gonna be it should be a good week. It should be a good week. How many more weeks do we got? We have about two more weeks. Yeah, 2 more weeks until the month ends. Chat, we only have how many more months? 1, 2, 3, 4 more months. 4 more months until the year ends. Insane. Time flies. Crazy. 4 more months and 2025 comes to an end. Should I wait or exit? I just took a sell trade at 47. I don't know. You gotta send a chart in, you know, like, I don't know what you're doing. Why would you take a sell when price is moving up? Why take a sell? And also, you know, the range to the downside has already been filled. Here, majority of it's been filled. There's only about like 5 more pips which were left. Maybe if you took a sell and then, you know, you still had a lot of room to move down, that could make sense. Beautiful break on pound yen though. This was a nice little dump over here. From the break of the lows, pushed down about like 37 pips. Beautiful distribution. It says literally the same thing for the buy ideas here on gold today. Really nice. Oh, you could have even come in sooner. Could have even come in sooner by 199. I think that this is where the distribution started from. Right here, and I see we also got a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, break below these areas. Oh, wow. GG, you know, GG has been moving nice of late. I just haven't been trading pound yen. Really nice, beautiful, clean ranges here. Little consolidation breakout here too, up towards the resistance, and then price continued to move up here. Broke above these highs on like some little shotgun entry model. Tight stop loss on this, about like maybe 5-6 pips. Price continued to move upwards. Really good. Now I think like for buys on gold, we have to at least break above a 33.50. If you can break above 33.50, then, you know, you have again a 36 pip range over here. The price can continue moving up towards like 33.55, but we need to get above 33.50 though first, because now we're at a support 33.43. We've tested the support, so there's nothing here, you know, nothing looks appetizing within this zone. Looks like bearish breakout to the downside. Oh, a fake breakout to the downside. This move. The simple life. Gold just loves to do this with me. Why come to BE to fully move up? Yeah, exactly. Why come to BE, huh? That's the thing. Why come to BE to move up? It just needs to take you out. It knows we got a Ricardo guy here who loves to get these sniper entries, so we gotta mitigate Ricardo. And then, you know, the market's really good at mitigating everybody. That's what I've realized over the years. It doesn't matter what strategy it is that you use. You cannot avoid the mitigation. It will mitigate everybody. There's nothing under the sun that you're gonna come up with that you can avoid all fake outs, all mitigations. All of us will have similar experience with obviously getting stopped out BE, and then price moves up, and, you know, sometimes we get these really annoying variables that get in the way, like, you know, and then price moves in our direction. We all gonna experience this, because you can't figure the market out. The more you try to figure it out, the more you're gonna have losing trades. The more you try and kind of like figure it out, like it's some kind of a system that you can manipulate, from sitting on your chair here as a retail trader, that you're looking at the candles like this and you're trying to figure it out. You know, you're thinking so hard. You're thinking so hard about it. Like, how can this, like, you know, how can I make this, you know, 100% win rate or something like that? You know, the problem is you're going to do your back testing. This is a psychological thing I see happen quite a lot to traders. They're going to do their back testing with amazing results. Like, and I don't know this form of backtesting, what it is exactly. I think you're already seeing it, and you're tricking your brain to thinking you didn't see it, because this is something that used to happen before. I used to do like simulations, because on a simulation it's a bit different. You pick a random date and then you start taking candle by candle. But most people sometimes they just kind of glance through PA and they kind of trick themselves a little bit. And then they have a system and they kind of trick themselves a little bit into believing like some really crazy results, until you start to forward test it, and then it's like a bit more harder. So I would say, like, when it comes to backtesting, definitely utilize a random date generator, and then get your random date and then start from somewhat like this, and at the specific times that you're going to be trading, and then see how your results at least look during that. Oh, we got Raja Banks online here. Let's see. My name is Raja. My name is Raja. You guys ever see that video of Raja when he was still coming up? When he was still coming up in his car, and he has like notes and is like, my name is Raja. My name is Raja. Man, he's changed. He's grown up so much. This guy has grown up so much since I started watching him as a new trader. He's like changed so much. Did he catch his buys though? These were on gold. Oh, he watched them. He watched them play out, but he didn't take it. But he's got his line over here. It looked like he wanted to take something. That was at 33.51. Why didn't he take that buy? Why did he not take that buy? Oh, nothing there. The word is he is a scammer. Gold just lost to, oh yeah. I think it is like money changes some people, you know? Like when you start to get a lot of money and you get to a high level, sometimes it can get to your head a bit. I was waiting for the 15-minute candle close. This is actually, you know, something that we spoke about yesterday a lot was impulsive entries and also waiting for candlesticks to close. Because if you're waiting for, let's say, a 15-minute candle to close, you're obviously going to miss the move. Like, that's a lot of time for the market to actually do something. So you see price moved up like 62 pips over there already. So you could have like missed the move. Waiting for a 15-minute candle closure. Even the 5-minute candles sometimes don't give you the closures. Because you see, this kind of ruined it. So what I started realizing was on gold, sometimes price action would ruin it by spiking too much, but still giving me my close. But it would spike too much to get an entry at the break of the wick highs. So this was more of like some kind of an impulse entry over here. So we took it based off a consolidation breakout. Little consolidation break for price to move upwards. Yeah, waiting for candles to close, man, sometimes can be tricky. I think it's really good if, let's say, you have like 2 minutes on the clock and, you know, the 5 minutes flirting with the resistance. And then, like, the closer you get to the 1 minute's closing, the better you're going to get an option to wait for the candlestick to close first. And then you can get your entry. But yeah, if you're waiting for like a 15-minute and you see candlesticks are already at an impulsive wick breaks, damn, there's a low probability that that thing's gonna wait for you. It will just keep moving up like this. Let's try German 40 consolidation. See this. German 40. Oh, you got German. Oh, well, German 40 consolidation break to the upside possibly. And then for price to move up. But the daily's down 0.37. So it's actually trending quite a bit to the downside. See, German 40 on the daily's coming down. You got some kind of resistance areas here. Got a supply zone on German 40. That price can reject off that supply zone and then come downtown. Downtown to pound town. Which software do you use to backtest? Oh, we use FX. FX. It's like, I think it costs $100. FX. This is the one that we use. Faster than demo trading. What is this? Faster than demo. Oh yeah, because you're backtesting. No risk involved. Okay. Forex Simulator 2.0. It's nice to see they're still upkeeping this thing. You know, because now we should be... Now we also apparently got MT5 version included. Maybe I should download the MT5 version. I think the MT5 version looks a lot cleaner. Wait, let me make this a note. Download MT5 version of simulator. Awesome. Have you seen that School of Hard Knocks short of Raja Banks? No, I haven't. What is it about? Is it the news trading ones, like where he takes really big loss on news? You're so right. The more you think, the worse it gets. Trust your inner voice. Instead of B, I just take out 25% and keep the SL as it is. Should I wait or exit? I just took a sell. Oh, 24/7. It happens all the time. Why I'm unable to catch? You're unable to catch because you're rushing the trades. Like, I'm not sure if this was even a strategy that you took a sell over here. I don't know why you took the sell. You know, it's going to keep happening to you and you're just going to keep losing trades. Because, you know, if you could at least send in a chart. You know, think about it. If you're trying to become profitable in trading and you can't even do the bare minimum, like, how is it ever going to supposed to work for you? So let's write this here. Potential buys above. This is 33.50. Potential buys above 33.50. Oh, this video. Yeah, I've seen this video. That was crazy. Yeah, it's still a pretty nice area here. That's like 36 pips, 36.5 pips. Feel the range. The PA is moving. It's moving in a good way because, like, okay, you know, fill this range here to here, and it broke below support, and it, you know, fill the range to the downside. Like, it's actually moving intentionally. It doesn't seem like it's trying to Judah swing everybody or it's trying to fake people out. It seems quite genuine right now. So if it breaks above that resistance, then I'll be expecting it to come back up there again. Very nice PA. I haven't yet tested if the license shared on works on MT5, but give it a go because when I bought it, it was only for MT4. I think it should because it says yeah, I hope it does. I'm gonna see. I hope it works out. Got about 1 hour 15 minutes for the 4-hour candle here to close. Guys, that would actually look nice because the 4-hour would be reflipping up bullish. Towards 4-hour resistance, we do have about, you know, like 88 pips, 88.5 pips. Then you'd also get like a possible 1-hour liquidity grab situation that's happening here. I feel a big move to the upside is in gold today. That's what we want to see, but I feel like the fundamentals are just not lining up with it. The fundamentals are more lining up for a bearish move. Oh, you can't write all capitals, sir, because now your message gets removed. Why your price is lower than mine? I'm at 33.93. Oh, is this because your broker? Because of your broker. I'm using FXCM. So this is the chart that I use. Here, FXCM. You're probably on something else. What kind of strategy do you use? What makes confirmations for you about the trades? If you're new here, I think the best thing you to do is just to watch the stream for the next, you know, next quarter at least, but at least go through the videos, you know, go through the videos on my channel. I think the best thing you're gonna do now is, let me send you a link. Let me send you a link to a simulation we did yesterday. And then you gotta watch this simulation here. I'm gonna upload this in the WAP database later on today. Oh, you got a futures chart. Yeah, that's probably why. Futures is slightly different as well. The price is slightly different. But the PA is generally speaking the same. So, you know, in futures, like price should have moved up here as well for the London Open. Let's see. Yeah, you got futures. This would have been your buy here in futures. You see, and then price moved up. That's futures. This is gold spot. Where is the meeting between Trump and Zelensky? Oh, when? Today. Today's going to be at like 12 p.m. I think. Yeah, exactly. You can have 100% win rate on futures. You just need to use the TradingView free version. That's true. Like futures is also lagging behind. What is it? 10 minutes on the free, or if you don't pay for the data. You see, so like right here, you just take a buy and look at where price is heading and take a buy here. Most likely now price is going to head upwards. Tight little stop loss like this. So yeah, I think this is going to be awesome for anybody who just joins the stream right now. They're going to be like, oh, wow, look at this. This guy's in profit here. See, now price is moving up here, guys. Price is moving up. Can we get a 101? I got a dark sense of humor sometimes. That's one thing about me. I find a lot of things funny, which maybe should not be funny. I'm the guy in class who's just gonna laugh uncontrollably. And you're gonna be like, shut up, dude. Got a dark sense of humor here. But yeah, you know, like 10 minutes, futures is 10 minutes behind. 10 minutes behind. So if you had a time machine, man, that would be awesome. Look at this. Secure some profits. TP1 just got hit. So now we gotta wait. What is funny? It's funny because some people actually do that. Some people actually do this. They do this, and you know, some people don't know about this thing, and then they like, it's just a dirty little trick. I just found out about it like maybe a month ago. That's what's funny. Because you know, like people on the internet are so cute. They're so cute because sometimes they don't do any due diligence. They're gonna see somebody in a $100,000, $200,000 trade, and they're gonna say, "Wow, this guy is such a good trader." You know, they just like believing anything. Yeah, so this is now gonna be a lot of waiting here. Gotta really wait here. Gotta practice patience. See on the 1 minute time frame, a little bit of little consolidation play there. Nice little SMA holding it up like this, but nothing too appetizing at this point. What should we look at? GU. Oh, GU looks clean. Had a small little push here. Then reversal confirmation. Reversal signal. Because, you know, we accumulated orders here. Price broke above. Consolidated. And then broke the lows. Got a reversal confirmation on this. Oh, nice. I think that was also a little Fibonacci retracement. Possible golden zone in there. But this was also a really nice accumulation breakout. Let's see. This was this London open? No, it's pre-London. Pre-London GU sells. TFX concepts. You know, you could have caught this. Could have caught this sell here. But that's why I do love GU. You know, it does have a lot of swings. Oh man, look at this horrible price action. This was on Friday because, you know, we got the US dollar being influenced here. So with the US dollar and the meetings that we had on Friday, we also saw markets ranging. I think, man, there were so many whips on Friday. Because Friday is a day that people really ruin it for themselves. And then, you know, when you have like meetings going on, it just makes it even worse. Because, you know, it's like these are the days that you usually most likely like overtrade in. Because, you know, you've been maybe having a hard week and you want to like make it back before the weekends, and you get caught in something like this, not knowing the reason as to why price is even doing that in the first place. If price came to 3346.376, can we add position? What do you mean add position? I don't even know what the first position was. What about those Africans with 200 million trades? Oh, right. Yeah, I think that's like in South Africa, they do that a lot. They got like 100 positions opened all at once. Please analyze GU. Yeah, GU for GU buys, you need to break above, like, you know, this high over here at least. Then maybe GU can continue to move up. This range is worth about 8 pips. You know, it's pretty small range, I guess. You got 8 pips, but at the same time, you know, if GU starts to struggle over here by resistance, it could give a reason as to taking a sell below these lows. It's not like 8 pip range. But right now, I think what you'd like to see is some kind of a support being formed. You know, if you see a support being formed and then the next candlestick opens and maybe breaks these lows, then we can think of GU as a sell. Because the daily time frame is down 0.20%. It's not really trending, but you could see a bearish move come in if you get that support and then break below those lows. But nothing too obvious standing out here in GU. You can see, like, since the market opened, there hasn't been I think there hasn't been much direction in this market. You know, this is a market open, price consolidated here, and then now it's just within that same region. So nothing as obvious as what happened here during the pre-London session, or maybe even something down over here. So you still gotta wait for a little bit more structure. You see, candlestick is just closing back-to-back bearish at this point, so we don't have enough structure. But yeah, those would be the two clean ranges I'd be looking at. I was also in a loss on Friday. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think Friday was the day that I decided I was going to stay away from the market on Friday. As much as I wanted to trade, I was like, nah, no, today's not the day. Today is not a good day to trade. So I didn't take a trade. You know, sometimes you got to know when to trade and when not to trade. And knowing when not to trade is arguably the most important thing. Now, knowing when to trade, man, you're going to always know when to trade. You know, the market, if you really want to trade, the market is going to show you your entries. Correct? So I think knowing when not to trade is the most important one. Because if you want to trade, you can always take a trade. When not to trade. How much time would you say a strategy needs to make sure it's profitable? I would say at least 25 trades. You know, that's a good start. 25 4-tested trades where you can see if you're profitable. That's going to give you a good hint as to kind of like what you can expect. You know, so do 25 trades in a month. In a month, not 10 trades in a day or 5 trades in a day. Just do 25 trades in a month and see what the results were when you're 4-testing it now. Because to be honest with you, you know, you are going to have maybe some months which are amazing months and some months which are not so great months. So you have to understand the strategy the longer you're in with it. But if you can see at least it's somewhat profitable, then you see like, okay, you know, this month I did 14%. All right, so that's 25 trades. How many trades did I do over here? This was about 26 trades. You see, this is 26 trades that I did. I did 14%. Then you say, okay, you know, I might be onto something here. Let me just keep using this strategy and see how it performs. Now in February, you're going to see, oh, February we did 19.78%. Okay, let me try again in March. And you start building a routine with it. Then you see in March, you did 41 trades. You're like, damn, I got 34% now in March. Then you say, okay, let me go in April now. In April now, I did about 33 trades or 23%. Now let me try push it a bit more. You know, then we try pushing a bit more here in, where is it? In May. In May, we took 51 trades. 51 trades, not 100% hit rate, but I got 51%. You see this over here? Then you're like, damn, okay, so this thing works. But you know, the thing is, you got to start with 25 trades. Just first start slow and then see what that P&L looks like, because now that's going to be the result for that specific month. And then just keep applying it and then just see how that performs in the long term. So I'd say like any strategy that's giving you like even 5+% is pretty decent strategy. Because if you're getting 5% and you're risking 1% per trade, all you got to do is risk 2% and you're already at 10%. You know, so I think already that's a pretty good strategy, especially if it like fits your psychology and you like trading it and that sort of thing. Then you can just play with the percentages. If you need more percentage gains, maybe even take more trades, you know, but just take it easy in the beginning. 1% per trade, 25 trades. Does it have to be consecutive wins? No, it doesn't. There's no such thing as a perfect trading system. So you're always gonna have like cluster of losing trades and winning trades. There's no way you can get 25 consecutive wins without doing something sketchy. You know, something sketchy like allowing more drawdown in than you should be. So you might even start it off with losses, and then the wins start to come later on. So like every system will have its own cluster of losing and winning trades. So you got some normal speed bumps over here. These are just normal speed bumps, Took a couple back-to-back losses. Man, what happened this day? Oh, this was the day that I did that dumb shit. Oh, okay. Okay, but I managed my risk on that trade. Yeah, I remember this. I managed my risk on that trade. What tool do you use for journal? You can download this journal. It's in the description box. It's just the one that I use. It's just an old school journal. I'm sure there's a lot of new, nicer websites out there for journaling and that sort of thing. But this is just for me for the stream that I use. You know, so everything is calculated. So when I put the percent over here, it's calculated here. When I put like a loss over here, you see it's calculated here. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good template here. You can put in like psychology section and image section. Yeah, TradeZilla. You can use TradeZilla, I guess. They should make a betting site for forex, like people take a trade. Oh, and people bet if it wins or losses. What's the difference between people just taking the trade themselves then? That's funny. Bet on people to see if they win or lose a trade. But you'd have to bet when they're getting in, not when they're already in the trade, right? Or make it interesting. When they're in drawdown, then you can bet again if they're gonna win or lose. Shaka, thank you for the sub, man. How to join mentorship? Only if you can find it, then you can join it. You know, because if you can't even find it, you know, that means that you can't even do any kind of research. And at that point, you shouldn't even be trading. Because, you know, a lot of trading comes down to due diligence. If you can't even do the simplest of due diligence and everything is right under your nose, man, I don't even know what's going on. Like, you know, a lot of these things are just right underneath. Okay, you got it. Nice. Right underneath our noses, but we don't know. But we don't know. The thing is, we see it usually in hindsight as well. Like with trades, it's right underneath our nose, but we always see it in hindsight, like after the move has already happened. It's a really big problem. And that just comes from a lack of confidence to execute on your ideas. So what it is, you know, if you're new to the stream, you're going to see this happen over and over again. You're going to see this concepts happen for like, you know, a month, maybe a couple months. And then that's when you're going to start to execute. Because, you know, that's how you build confidence in a system. So like when you're busy still trading your own system, you're just going to be looking at, okay, you know, what is he doing over here? So every now and then you're going to be looking to see how these moves are reacting. And then slowly you're going to start executing on a similar idea like that. You start slowly building that confidence. You get comfortable with taking those types of trades. But it takes a while. You know, if you're coming from like a different system, let's say you're Fibonacci's. So it's going to take a while to make that small little transition or like to accept a different sort of trading style if you're still trying to make something work. You know, sometimes you're invested in something and you're like, okay, I want to see this play out. I want to see if this really works. So it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time to get used to it. Hey, Woods. It's going to take some time, but you're trying to reduce as much of that time as possible because, you know, you don't have time to waste. You don't have time. Because people spend like 3 years, 5 years learning how to trade. Man, you don't have that time. Why do you want to spend 5 years learning how to trade, you know? Like, just move correctly. Don't move fast. Move in a way that you don't have to come back to the foundation all the time. So, you know, if you're building something, at least make sure you don't have to come back and redo it. Because whenever you got to redo something, it's always going to be, you know, it's going to take you twice the time and it's going to be twice as expensive. So you got to move like correctly. You never want to move fast. Hey, Tetra, is clean traffic strategy and breakout and retest one thing? Oh, I think clean traffic strategy is, it's not really a strat, but it's more of looking at how price moves. So that's a breakout. A breakout is a strat, and a retest is also another thing. A break and a retest. So I would say with the clean ranges, at least it kind of gives you an idea of, you know, where the volume is, or if there's even volume in the market. Because if there's volume in the market, then, you know, it's pretty nice that you see clean candles like this. Because when you take a buy here, you're expecting the same thing to happen again. You're expecting some kind of a clean volume to be coming in. So I would say that's a really positive thing about the clean ranges. And then the breakout is like, you know, you got a breakout over here and you can see volume also within this area is building up. So this is all lining up beautifully for a nice trade. So whenever you take a trade like this and, you know, if it's a winning trade, awesome. If it's a losing trade, awesome. Because, you know, like, I still think it was a pretty good idea. Yeah, now Marcus is just gonna chop around for a bit here. Some days we actually get the moves back to back. So we get like a breakout here and price will come down, give an entry like this and price will move up, and then give a sell like this towards like pre-NY. Today it looks like we only got one buy. Potential sell over here as well. One buy, one sell. And now it's like gearing up again. Back to back to back. I downloaded your journal, but I have a hard time making entries. I have to give you access. Let me try and do that now. Alright, so I gave you access. Just make a copy of it and use it. Do like impulse breakouts, etc. Let's see. People need to understand market's range 90% of the time. Yes. Just wait for confirmation. Oh, look, prices starting to break above. Volume is just coming in here again. Oh, it's a distribution. I see small little accumulation play. I was like, wow, that was an interesting spike up. Yeah, it just spiked up like, you know, 10 pips. Nice little accumulation breakout on that one. Yeah, so it's starting to break above resistance over here by 33.50 now. And it's also creating like an inverted, potential inverted. Let me see on the 1 minute. Yeah, kind of like a potential inverted. It's not the cleanest though. It's starting to break above SMAs too. Copy of what? Copy of the journal. So if you request to get the journal, you just have to make under file, make a copy and then use it. Well, when I started in December 23, I give myself 5 years to learn. Now I'll be furious if I can't go full-time next year. Learn enough to know what I'm doing. It's just building discipline. Yeah. And once you understand the concepts and you have like a set time that you should be trading, it will just come down to like discipline. It come back to discipline and experience. Because, you know, you're still going to have to get used to all the different kind of market environments. You know, and then but as long as you got like that solid foundation, you know what you're doing, then I think it's pretty good. The rest of it's just experience. And the more trades you take, the better experience you get. So if you get like a move like this, you know, for example, when I was coming into this move, I was thinking, okay, you know, experience from last week Thursday showed me this move already play out. Correct? So I'm like, okay, nice. So I've seen this move here today. I think it's going to be a really good move. So because last week Thursday, I saw a similar thing happen like this towards the London Open. You know, you see how that experience kicks in? And now imagine this over a duration of 5 years. I've been trading for 5 years, going to 6 years soon. Now imagine that sort of data over a period of that long, sticking to a system, and what that's going to do for your profitability. It's going to do wonders. Because, you know, the market's not changed. It's still the same market since I've been trading since December 2019. It's still the same markets. You know, nothing's changed. Markets only move downwards, sideways, and upwards. It's still the same market in that respect. Maybe not the same market environment, but still the same way structure was always moving. So, you know, I got myself like a very good foundation there. So that's not going to change. What's going to change is the environment. You know, when we have politics come into play, macro fundamentals, that sort of thing, directional biases, all that stuff's going to change, you know. Then you can adapt with it and say, okay, you know, my 12 or 15, 16 pips stop loss is not making sense in this market, you know, because the candlesticks are like, you know, 20, 30 pips. So now I have to adapt myself to the new market environment so I can cash these moves. You know, just small adjustments like that. Because if you don't adapt, you die. Most of the time, people struggle in trading not because of strat. It's psychology that is hard. Get used to put risk on the table and handle it. Greedy learning to take what market gives. Yeah, I mean, if you even think about a lot of entrepreneurs, they always have a moment when they're about to give up. You know, when things get really difficult. But the fact that they kept going, that had to do with psychology. It didn't have to do with their strategy. Correct? You know, sometimes you could have a very good strategy, but it's just you gotta work around the psychology. You know, it's like Steve Jobs. You know, back in the days, people were like, "What are these computers? You know, why do we need colored computers? I don't need a colored computer. You know, what is this thing? This thing's expensive. This thing's expensive. Why do I need this thing?" And then you have that vision. You know, God gave you the vision. He didn't give it to the other guy. He gave it to you for a reason. You know, so then sometimes you're gonna see Steve Jobs' strategy was a good strategy. You know, nowadays we all love computers. We love colors on our computers and all of these things. Microsoft Word, PowerPoint makes life easier. You know, but at some point the strategy was good. Psychology, maybe the mass psychology was just not caught up yet. But you see, the thing is, he knew already. He was already ahead of the curve. So he got his psychology right. You know, it's not my job here to convince you guys of anything, because my psychology is already right. You know, so it's just the same thing. If you're going to let people's opinions slow you down, then you're never going to achieve anything. And, you know, as a human race, we can't even move forward at that point. So you just got to see like, okay, you know, if there's value here, let me take this value, let me use this value, and, you know, that's it. But the psychology part is everything. In trading and business, you know, you just have to keep pushing forward, because remember, God gave you the vision. He didn't give it to nobody else. Because a lot of the time, you know, you're going to tell your friends you're going to start trading, and everybody's going to tell you, you know, what's the probability that you're going to become a successful trader? It's obviously a pretty low probability. You're going to open up a business. What's the probability you become a successful business owner? It's the same probability. It's a low probability. Most businesses, only I think 30% of businesses actually succeed past the 5-year mark. Most businesses fail towards that 5-year mark. Most businesses will close down, statistically speaking. So, you know, if you let that hold you back, then you know, what can you do? What can you do? You create your own reality. If you've always been taught that you can't achieve nothing, you won't achieve nothing. You know, but if you start teaching yourself from an earlier age that you can achieve everything, You might just achieve everything. You know, it's the crazy people who do it. Because for me, I started this psychological journey when I was still in high school, when I read the book The Secret. If you guys know this book, The Secret, and the power of visualization. So this journey was already started very early, at a very early age. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. All I knew is that if I believed in something, then you can make it into reality. That's all that I needed to know. I didn't need to know the plan, you know, like you don't need to know God exists. Just believe and just let whatever unfold at the right time. I didn't know it was going to be trading in high school. No idea. But it all starts with belief. You know, if you take a trade like this, if you come onto stream or you just take any trade for yourself, you got to believe that price is going to move in a certain direction. Because before it happens, you don't know that's going to happen, right? You have your system, you have your belief system and everything else, and you know, you just let things unfold for you. So you got to see the market is a pure reflection of your own thoughts. Because every trade is more than just a trade, it's a thought. Because you thought buys would be good above 33.50, or you thought sells would be good below this support level. You know, it all starts as a thought and then it manifests into reality. So you see how that works? See how also making money works? I think it's a beautiful thing. We all start somewhere. Yes. TradeSync X, thank you for the sub. Bro, how old are you? Me and bro are arguing here. I'm saying you're 25 and he said I look old in my mid-30s. Damn, mid-30s? That's the first time I got in that. Holy. I'm not even in my 30s yet. Not yet. Sir. Not yet. But I'm 29. I look pretty young. I look pretty young for my age. Man, you know, like when I see people the same age as me, I'm like, they look old. They look older than what I feel that I look. I think I got good genes because my mom doesn't have wrinkles or anything either, you know. Got pretty good genes. Also, my dad's pretty alright. So hopefully I don't look mid-30s yet. Should I enter buy now? No. Young enough? Young enough for what? When did you start getting into profits? After 1 year of trading. After 1 year. I wish I knew it. I wish I knew it sooner. You know, I wish I knew it sooner. But after 1 year. If I knew trading sooner, I would just be doing trading. Because I already knew trading when I was like, I think I was about in my early 20s. I already knew about trading. Yeah, I knew it, but I didn't know the potential of it. You know, like people just knew about it, but people not as invested into it as they are nowadays. Your age when stress and worry? No stress here, sir. Where are you from? Wakanda. What you just said about creating your reality is pure gold. Not enough people are aware of their perception of reality and their power to change that perception. Yes, like you can change your reality in a snap like this. All it takes is a mind shift, you know? All it takes is a mind shift. Like sometimes, you know, you gotta trick your brain. Your brain is like, sometimes your brain goes against you, you know? It makes all the worst case scenarios for you in your head and you don't end up doing anything. Like for me personally, it's always an opportunity for me that whenever I have a challenge that I need to trick my brain. You know, like if I want to go to the gym or if I have to do something, I'm always trying to think in a term of my brain. The brain is not your friend, it's actually your enemy. Because it's going to tell you like, oh, you know, just relax, just rest. You know, I'm a bit tired right now. But you just got to say, no, I can do this. Then you just get up and you slowly start to do things and get the ball rolling. So yeah, I think sometimes the brain can really play tricks on you. So if you take a buy, for example, here, your brain is going to go in defense mode the moment you start to see drawdown. You know, but you gotta say, no, we gotta see this through. Because if you can't control your brain, then you can't control anything. Because the brain is the only thing you can control. You can't control your heartbeat. You know, you can't control a lot of these things. You know, you can control more of your brain than anything else. Unless you're Wim Hoffman. Or Hoffman. You know, then you can control your body temperature. Then you can control your heartbeat. But, you know, for the most part, you're going to control just your thoughts. And if you're going to have a day, you know, why not have a good day? You know, if you're going to take a loss, why not change your perspective to the loss? You know, so it's like at some point, if you're losing a lot in the market, just change your perspective towards the losses. Say, instead of like feeling like a victim, you know, this victim mentality that a lot of people have, why don't you shift that to opportunity for yourself? You know, you think Gordon Ramsay played a victim when he was slaving away in those restaurants as a child in his 20s, in those high stress environment, like, oh, I'm a victim, you know, my dad's a drug addict. You know, I think Gordon Ramsay, man, he had a very hard upbringing. He had to raise his brothers, you know, he had to do everything. But did he play a victim? No, he didn't play a victim, man. You gotta change those into opportunities for yourself, because that makes you into a unique character. And we need unique characters in this world. You know, we don't need copies. We need unique characters, unique storylines, that sort of thing. So, man, I used to lose. Every time I took a trade, I used to almost lose all of my trades. So instead, I just started making like fun of it. You know, I'll just say, okay, you know, it's time to wake up and lose again. So I'd wake up, get onto the charts, take my trade, and just try and learn something from those losses. Like every single loss now has to become a lesson, because it's not getting any better for me. So what can I do? I can only control what I can control, which is my reaction to the losses. You know, it's the same thing. If you take a buy here, and then price starts to give you some crazy drawdown, all you can do is control how much you're going to lose. Because if price is not going to move up, it's not going to move up. You know, because most of the time when you take a buy or a sell and you're expecting price to go in a certain direction, it's supposed to go in that direction. You know, it's supposed, most of my best trades go in that direction. So if it's not going in that direction, I can't control it then. I got to control what I can control, which is my risk. You know, that was the whole idea behind this sell over here on the swing entry. You know, I was trying to get a sell on gold, but it wasn't moving down and I can't force it to move down. So all I can do is, instead of losing 500 bucks, I can lose, you know, something like 200 bucks. So you see, once you shift your mindset towards something like this, you have less stress for yourself, because now you're actually focusing on things that you can't control. You know, and I think it's pretty nice. It opens doors for opportunities later on. You know, if I manage my risk, losing $200 instead of 500 bucks, guess what? My next trade that I'm going to take, at least I've managed my risk on that trade. So, you know, the next time I take a trade, it's not going to be as bad. Even if I lose it, or if I make profits, then, you know, it's awesome. It's going to be easier to make the profits. So you see, it does open new doors. So sometimes in life, you might think, oh, life is against you and, you know, things are so hard. But maybe it's just giving you an opportunity so you can open a new door somewhere. You know, so that's how you kind of want to think about it. When things get tough, just look and see, what can you learn from this? Because it's probably going to open the door to something else. Something else that's good. You know, you got lots of doors. There's a lot of doors here. There's a lot of doors that you're going to learn a lot of things from. You know, from that lesson. Now the question is, which door are you stepping into? What lesson are you going to learn? Is it going to be risk management? Is it going to be something to do with technical analysis? Is it going to be something to do with your own psychology? You know, as a new trader, you're going to open a lot of these doors. And you know, you got to open just enough of them to start building some kind of like true consistency and confidence in your system. But if you're going to play a victim, then you're not going to open any doors. You're just going to stay here. You're going to stay here, and these doors are just going to remain like here. You know, they're not going to go anywhere. They're just going to be waiting for you. So when you're ready to stop playing victim and to actually start learning, then, you know, then it's going to reveal themselves to you piece by piece like this. But again, at the same time, if you're not willing to take any risks, you know, you got to also take risks sometimes to open these doors. Some of these doors only open with certain things or certain inputs. You know, that's how you live, that's how you grow, and that's how you learn. Because nobody who started a business, for example, had a 100% hit rate. There were definitely losses that came about from taking risk, which made them better. Oh, you're saying I look old for 29? All right. That's okay. I think he should stop focusing so much on that. Because, you know, if you're focusing on the wrong things, then what are we doing here? What is this? So distracted, my daughter. Here I missed the 1 minute consolidation. Look at this distribution. Fake out. You have fake out into distribution. Ooh, yeah, that was like a small little liquidity grab above here. Why is there a line? There's like a line inside of the price action. What is this? What is this line? I don't know. I don't use it. Yeah, but it looks like a small little fakey over there. See, the way this candlestick closed here, it didn't even like give it a strong break. That was a pretty small break. This was about a 0.8 pip break. So instead of actually moving bullish, we just created like a new resistance here. It's going to sell off, do you think? I would say like for the sells, there's a lot more like support areas over there. So it could be quite difficult for the sell-off. You know, because you got a support area here, you got another support area here and here. So it looks a little bit tricky. I would still say the buys above 33.50 still look a lot cleaner, wouldn't you say? Like even on the 15-minute there, looks pretty decent. You only got a 30-minute resistance, 1 hour wick fill situation. But everything else, if it's going to pick a direction, I think the buys still look a lot cleaner than the sells. Yeah, like a wick fill on the higher time frames. Vic, I'm learning from your words of encouragement. Thanks. Thank you, so yummy. Appreciate it. Sharks though, these fakies, yeah. It's lowering, it's getting a little low volume here as we're heading towards a pre-New York in the next 35 minutes. I'm still holding a 0.10 buy from today's low. Choose victim or underdog, blue pill or red pill. Yeah, you choose victim or underdog. You know, it's the same thing as when I started trading. I was like, man, and a lot of us feel this way. Like we feel like we have so much potential that it just annoys us sometimes. It's like, oh man, like why am I not getting it yet? Why am I not getting it yet? But you just have, you know, you just got to prove yourself to the universe, I guess. You know, things happen at their own timing. And it's just like a challenge for yourself because, you know, if you keep putting too much pressure on you, then you know, you might even quit. You might end up quitting. Most people quit in the first 90 days of their trading, you know. They quit. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. Know you're here for the long run. You're not here. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Like right now, man, even with this YouTube and everything, I'm like, man, I feel like I could play the victim, you know, all I want. I could play the victim, but I feel like, man, there's so much potential here. And we do things like a bunch of people can't even do, but it's like, you know, you still got to grow. You still got to grow. You still got to prove yourself to the universe. Like in every realm, you have to prove yourself. You know, you prove yourself to yourself first in trading that you're profitable. Now you say, okay, I want to start this new business. Now you have to prove it again to the universe that you deserve it. So there's no shortcuts in life. You know, you're always going to have to prove yourself. You're going to start from the bottom and work yourself up. Right now, I'm basically, you know, it's a really good community. We're growing here, but I still feel like this is the bottom. You know, I still feel like I'm still getting it out the mud right now in terms of just like the whole social media thing and YouTube. You know, it's growing pretty good. We're the best London session stream, no doubt, but it's still growing. You know, there's a lot of room to grow here. So you could either play the victim and say all these things, or you could just take it for what it is, which is the journey, you know, enjoying the journey. Can't enjoy the journey, then you know, you can't do this. Man, I've seen so many people try trading on stream and then they give up, man. They give up. Man, I've seen people reach like 100k subs like this in just a few months, and guess what? They gave up, and then the channel just lies over there. And then it's because, like, you know, trading is not for everybody. Like, some people, they just can't handle the pressures that comes with doing it in a live environment, even if they grow pretty fast, you know. It's because of just the way the lifestyle is set up. So, you know, you got to move correctly. I always say this, you got to move correctly. You got to move sustainably. Don't burn yourself out. And just know what it is that you're doing. Because, you know, the way I trade, very nice way that I trade. I can't burn myself out. This is something that we can even go to 1 million subscribers and I wouldn't burn myself out. But, you know, you got these other channels who are doing a lot of due diligence and, you know, a lot of smart money concepts, this and that. And you burn yourself out, man. Like, as a retail trader, you can't compete to these levels that smart money are playing at. They have all the resources, hundreds of millions of dollars, analysts. They have all those bloody resources. You know, there's no way as a single person that you're going to be able to sustain that type of momentum. You know, you got to be realistic. Man, that's why for me, I already accepted a long time ago that I'm going to be a dumb money trader. As long as I am not employed by an institution, I will forever be a dumb money trader. So let me take what I can from these movements, simple smart money concepts, and then add that into simple ways of looking at markets that work. You know, it's all about what works as well. Because we're not here to be right. You know, I give two shits if price goes to all-time highs or these really longer-term goals. I just want to make profit, you know. I just want to grab a few pips here and there. If we go up to like 33.70, I have no idea. You know, but if I can catch a little bit of a move before that, then that's all that I need. But a lot of like smart money, other concepts and stuff, they're usually predicting much higher levels, which require a lot more also due diligence. You know, so you really got to get into that fundamental space and get good at reading fundamentals if that's the sort of thing that you're trying to do. Let's get a play button. Yes, sir. We're going to get it. But, you know, I do love to use the macros, though. I am waiting for I'm still waiting for the Feds, the interest rate cuts here. And then, you know, I'm going to see gold move up when we get interest rate cuts in September 17th. And I'm going to wake up here. Let me see what day this is going to be. This is going to be September 17th. That means I'm going to wake up on the 18th of Thursday, just before the week ends. And gold is probably going to be moving up 0.50%, something like that. I'm going to take a buy on the 18th of September. And then, you know, we're going to trade with that institutional order flow. Then I think, you know, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then these events, they happen like every month. You're going to get like an FOMC basically like every month. Basically, not every month, but basically we're going to get them quite often. So we're going to have like October. We're going to have September, October, and then December. So nothing on November, but we're probably going to have talks in November. Some kind of like new data coming out. But yeah, September, October, December. And we're actually expecting more than one rate cut apparently. So we'll see September 25 basis point cut, and then maybe October. Then we're going to see December. It will be crazy if Powell does not cut it in September. You're going to see Donald Trump's face go red. He's going to go red and he's going to say, this guy is doing a terrible job. You know, he's got the easiest job in the world. The easiest job. All he has to do is cut the rates. And he knows this. He's a terrible person. You know, we don't know about them when we put them in office. I put him in office, but, you know, it turned out to be a mistake. You know, all he's got to do is cut the rates. That's what that's what Trump is going to say. So it's going to be quite a surprise. If Powell does not cut rates at an 84.8% probability, yeah, it's going to grind some people's gears. Especially people who are in, like, you know, cryptocurrency, people who are waiting for gold to move up. Like, we're all just waiting for those rate cuts here at this point. Because once we get those rate cuts, we can see price head on over towards, like, you know, 3,500 here. We can start moving up towards like 3,500 on gold. So you see, we're just waiting. We're just waiting. The moment that price starts to move on gold, looking at the daily time frame, Trust me, it's not moving because of your trend line and you're going to say, oh, you know, I had this awesome analysis here and now it's moving up. It's most likely going to be moving because of some kind of fundamental work happening in the background. Once we start heading towards 3,500, the only thing that can drive that move is fundamentals. That's when you're going to see that institutional order flow come in. A lot of patience is required when you come into smart money, because most of the time they're on the higher time frames and they got a large portfolio of things, not just one thing. You know, most retail traders maybe trade, you know, 1, 3 things. They got a whole portfolio of different things, stocks, indexes, you know, a bunch of stuff. So it's very hard to compete. Very hard to compete. So you just got to see the direction and then just go with the direction. Let them do the analysis. Let them do the work. You're going to see them in the market. They leave a pretty big footprint. You're going to see it when it starts to move. But right now, we're definitely not moving. At least on Gold Spot. We are not yet driving anywhere with like true conviction. Yeah, you know, some days we got these really big moves. You know, you can say, oh, you know, pretty nice sell-off over here. Push down like 1.67%. But it's not really anything, you know. In the grand scheme of things, you know, you got to always have the bigger picture in mind. In the grand scheme of things, it's really not that much. So, you know, we're just all waiting over here. Bro, remember to drink water, please. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I got my water over here. It's all good. It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. Words of Wood's wisdom. All-time high next month for you. Let's hope so. Get like at least a 50 basis point cut. What's the other side of playing the victim? Owning your shit. You know, just own your bad habits for what they are and then start developing those into good habits. So, you know, it's all about taking like accountability basically. So, you know, if you take a trade on stream and it's a losing trade and then you see and you start to blame me, for example, that's again the victim mentality. You know, most of the time also victims, they like to put the blame on somebody else. So I think it starts with just accepting things, you know, start taking accountability for things. Vic, I'm learning your words. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Sharks though. I'm waiting for GTA 6. Oh, yeah, and Stranger Things final season. Yeah, Stranger Things should be good. So is GTA. You can only control the controllables. Yeah, I mean, like, if you take a trade today, whatever is a losing or a winning trade, only thing you can control now is what do you do after that? You know, are you going to revenge trade? Are you going to over risk? Or are you just going to journal the trade? You're going to come onto your journal, put it into your journal, and then say, okay, you know, today, this was my lesson for the day. Oh, today I followed my rules and now I can have this as a pure stat on my spreadsheet to see how my strategy is actually performing. Remember, we spoke about this, 25 trades. Try get the best 25 trades that resemble exactly the strategy or the theory you think. You know, try get the best 25 sample size. Sample size the best 25 trades. That way you can eliminate any sort of like, you know, over trading or bad habits and stuff. So you can really see the strategy for what it is. And don't trick yourself. Don't trick yourself, because you know what's going to happen is if you take a loss in the beginning and then you see it play out after that, you know, sometimes you can trick yourself and say, oh no, this is actually the winning one. So let me journal this winning one here. Let me journal this because this is the real one. Don't do that. Try and make it as honest as possible. You know, pick yourself a time. Pick yourself the exact setup that you're looking for and then just try and nail that as much as possible. 100% sample sizing data. Then you're truly going to know. And if you don't do that, then, you know, you're going to waste a lot of time. So it's going to be a test on psychology as well, because it will take discipline and patience to wait for those exact moments. You know, but you really got to want to have it. If you don't want to have trading as something that you're going to do for the longevity of, you know, how many years you want to do it, then... You know, it's like if you can't do that, then I don't know. What do we do? What do we do at that point? Because we know what we have to do. We all know what we have to do in this chat. Every one of you know what you have to do. You're just not doing it. Or some of you are doing it. You know, it's kudos to you guys. But some of you guys out there, you know exactly what you have to do. I see you. I see you lying on that couch, lying in bed, just watching this on your laptop. You know what you got to do, but you don't want to get off your ass and actually do it. You know, it's much easier for you to watch this type of content. You know, after you're done with the stream, you're going to go and say, oh, Lambo Raul got a new Bugatti. Let me go watch him. Then you're going to go watch somebody else. And you're just going to watch these people live their lives. But you know exactly what you need to do. You know what you need to do, but you're living in your head. You think you already have achieved these things, but you haven't yet achieved them. You got to get to work, sir. You know, time's a going, man. You think you're like, you know, you think you got all the time in the world? Time is going. Time is flying, sir. Heading out to rewatch Gold Masterclass. Nice. Yeah, watch that. Watch that. That was an awesome simulation. Then stop living in your heads, you know. Like, just start applying it. Trust me, driving the Bugatti is a lot nicer than watching somebody else do it. If that's your goal. You know, that's not really my goal. My goal is just to be financially free. You know, and sometimes financial freedom comes with a boring level of discipline that is not sexy. You know, like managing risk in trading and becoming profitable in trading, it's not a sexy experience. It's very boring. But that's what you need to do. Yeah, but watch this simulation here. Let me send you guys another fresh link. For anybody who just joined. It ain't sexy, man. Making money is not sexy. You know, like when Andrew Tate, for example, drives a Bugatti through the hills of Romania, and it looks so cool. You know, you're like watching it and you're like, oh damn, man, these are like really nice angles. Bro, it's not sexy making that content because his cameraman has to always set things up. You know, you can't even enjoy the drive when you're making vlogs and content like that because everything's got to set up. You got to get the guy in position and then you got to make that drive. And then he has to come back, maybe do it again if something goes wrong, and then make that drive, and you know, you get different angles, and then you got, it's not fun. You'd rather just drive the car and not have to deal with all of that stuff, you know. But like, that's the way the sausage is made, basically. When the sausage gets made, it's not sexy, man. So just like trading, you know, people are gonna see the outcome. They're gonna see, oh man, this guy's starting. I'm seeing like Meow here and Anastasia is starting to do certain things for herself. They're just going to see the outcome, but they're not going to see the grind. Trading comes with all the lessons one can learn in life: discipline, self-responsibility, management of money and finances, self-regulation. All in one. It's not for everybody. Yes. Yeah, you gotta learn a lot of other things, true. Actually, it's just going to reveal yourself. More of your habits as well. So if you're already good with money and organizing money, then you're gonna see also that reflect in your trading, because you know, you're gonna think about it from a very good standpoint. Like for example, if you have 500 bucks, you're gonna start to think, okay, you know, I got 500 bucks. If I'm risking this amount, then this is gonna last me like a certain amount of time, that during this time I can learn just enough of what I need to learn to keep going. And that's always been my mental model towards trading, is just to buy myself time. So the $500 account that I started with, this was not to become profitable. It was just to buy myself time. That's all that it was for. It was just a tool to buy myself time so I can start learning what I need to learn. You got a kiss of death? Yeah, I got like a little distribution play that happened down here. Actually, a couple of distribution plays. We had a reversal confirmation signal right here. Then price came down from this buy right here, a little buy accumulation breakout from this area, and then you got reversal confirmation signal. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one that Ricardo sent. Actually, this was this trade right over here where we got that liquidity grab, and then price came down, break of the lows, distributed, consolidated again, like price break above the highs. So you see it's kind of happening again, but it's happening on the 1 minute time frame. So look at this little piece of PA right over here. So that lock that in, lock this in. You know, we gotta become like what's the word? You know, people who remember things like photo something. So, you know, just visualize this and then come here on the 5-minute time frame and then visualize that. And you're gonna see it's the same thing. You know, it's just a different time frame, but it's the same thing here. So, you know, you gotta, when you start to sample size, you want to put yourselves in an environment with certain rules like this, where you're going to get the best sort of sample sizing data you can for your strategy. So whatever that may be, you know, I'm showing you in terms of TFX concepts, but it applies on everything else, you know, because it depends on what you trade. Have a gander on GU daily. Big resistance zone. I'm short since last week. Yeah, photographic memory. Exactly. Just got a photographic memory over there. Like Oprah. Apparently Oprah has a photographic memory. Man, I used to know this one girl in school. Her name was Cindy. She had a photographic memory. That shit was insane. I'm talking like A+ student, bro. Like she was smart. It is such a gift to have a photographic memory. I was like, damn, man. Like, how can someone be this smart? Like, it doesn't make sense to have all that information in your head. But I guess it's, I'm not sure how they do it, but I think it's a visual thing. You know, I'm a very big visual learner. If you show me something visually, then I can see it and say, okay, you know, this is what I'm looking for. Then you learn quicker. And trading is a very visual thing. So if you understand it, if you can see it, then you can do it. Took my last 1-minute trend line breakout and I'm done. Oh, nice. Very good. Yeah, man, that girl. I forgot most of people I went to school with, but that girl, I remember her name just because of that gift. That was the first time I ever saw photographic memory. That was insane. And ever since then, you know, I think that triggered something in me. That triggered something in me to really start visual learning. What's this? Oh, this is GU sells. Got resistance, expecting price to move down. Nice. Some websites we watch, we remember well photographic memory. You got the memory of a goldfish. Bro, if you tell me, usually when I meet people, I always forget their name. The first time that I meet someone, it's kind of sometimes difficult. You always gotta spend more time with them. And it's like price is trying to push above 33.50, but it keeps rejecting this zone. Looks like it broke above this wick, but still hadn't gotten a candlestick close above that area. Although I think price can still move up because it's kind of shown to us that it wants to move bullish. It's just got to respect some lows over here. It's just got to respect some kind of a low to move up. Maybe some lows by 33.46. Your analogies make me laugh, bro. Thank you. Glad they make you laugh. My little sister has a photographic memory. Oh, nice. Imagine if your life depended on it. You know, if your life depended on memorizing a number plate or something like that. Oh, that's a nightmare. What's your Telegram channel? Just find the links in the description box. That's gonna be... We do have a Telegram and we have a Discord as well. So you can join the Discord here, and when you join the Discord, you can come over to SMA indicator, and then you can download this simple moving average over here. This is the one that we use on stream. Or you can come over to TFX journal, and then you can also download the journal here. Oh, there's no socials. There's no socials exclamation mark, because I think they're a lot. They're a lot, so you gotta be more specific. You can do like maybe Insta. So I only got Instagram, I guess, and TikTok. Do I got one for TikTok? Let me see. We got TikTok, we got Twitter. Yo, Tetra, shout out, amazing stream. Learned so much discipline from you. Appreciate it. TikTok. You know what's more boring? 99.99999% of a 9 to 5s. Yeah, I think, you know, it depends. It depends. 9 to 5s as well. You know, some people enjoy their 9 to 5s. And you know, you still get paid. You can still get paid quite nice. But I think for majority of people, I agree with you. For most people, it is more of a grueling task, because, you know, it's like you're more passionate when you're building your own thing. I feel usually you get more passion, more energy when you're doing for yourself than for somebody else. But yeah, it just depends on you. You know, life is full of a lot of characters. Yeah, I think about old people maybe somewhere in America who live on a farm. They don't need to run businesses, you know, they like the farm life. They like just, you know, having a woman there, having their children, working their farm, or working in a job in the community. Like, some people just, you know, they live life differently like that. So that's okay. You know, you just gotta know yourself. For me, man, I couldn't live like that. I couldn't live. I was always unsettled. I was always angry, and I was always just like, man, I need more than this. You know, so yeah, I think that's it. But I really appreciate you guys joining the stream here today. I appreciate the likes you all left. We got to about, you know, 130 likes here. Awesome stuff, guys. W day, W way to start off the week. Let's continue slaughtering this week. I hope you all found some motivation in this content, and I will see you in the next one. Adios.
Pull me